So welcome you all to the online botany class. Today we will discuss about the development of female gametophyte. In the last class I had already told you about the development of male gametophyte. We have already got an idea about it, how male gametophyte is produced, and in this particular video I will discuss about the process of female gametophyte development. Got it? So as far as female gametophyte development is concerned, we will study it under following 4 heads: structure of ovule, development of ovule, development of megaspore, formation of female gametophyte. Got it? So first come to the structure of ovule. As far as ovule structure is concerned, the stalk of the ovule is called funicle or funiculus. That is, the ovule is attached to placenta through a stalk, that is called funicle or funiculus, and the point of attachment of the body of the ovule to the stalk is called hilum. That means the point where the body of the ovule is attached to the funicle is called hilum. Okay. Now the main body of the ovule consists of thin parenchymatous cells called as nucellus, which forms the central body of the ovule. Okay. The nucellus is parenchymatous in nature and it forms the central body of the ovule. In case of matured ovule, the nucellus provides nutrition to the embryo sac. Got it? Now the nucellus remains surrounded by one or many coats. In case of ovule where a single coat is found, that kind of ovule is called unitegmic ovule, and in case of ovules where two coats are found, those kind of ovules are called bitegmic ovules. Got it? Now these coats, that is the coats surrounding the ovules, are called integuments. Remember it, the coats that surround the ovule, whether single or two, it does not matter, but as far as the coats are concerned, they are known as integuments. Got it? The ovule at its tip remains exposed. That part is called micropyle. Okay. Now the basal part of the ovule is called chalaza. Okay. Here basal part of your ovule, at the basal part of the ovule, nucellus, integuments and funiculus merge, and that part is called chalaza. Got it? The center of the nucellus, there is presence of female gametophyte. At the center of the nucellus there is presence of female gametophyte, which is otherwise known as embryo sac. Got it? And this embryo sac develops from functional megaspores. Okay. So as far as the structure of ovule is concerned, what we learned, it consists of a stalk that is called funiculus or funicle, and the point of attachment of funicle to the main body of the ovule is called hilum. Got it? I have not written it in this slide, but remember the point of attachment of funicle to the body of the ovule is called hilum. Okay. Now the main body of the ovule consists of parenchymatous cells called nucellus, which actually provides nutrition to the developing embryo sac. Now nucellus remains surrounded by one or more coats, which are known as integuments. If there is presence of single coat, then we call it as unitegmic ovule, and in case of two coats surrounding an ovule, we call it as bitegmic ovule. Okay. The ovule at its tip remains exposed, and that part is called micropyle, whereas at the basal part of the ovule, nucellus, integuments and funiculus, they merge, and that part is called chalaza. Got it? The center of the nucleus is occupied by female gametophyte, which is otherwise known as embryo sac, and that develops from functional megaspore. Okay. Now come to the diagram of the ovule. As you can see, chalazal part, integument, the coat that surrounds the ovule. Okay. I mean the coat that surrounds the nucellus, that is integument. Got it? Okay. Embryo sac, hilum, micropyle, funicle, everything else is drawn right here. You can see it. Okay. Now come to the next slide. Now we will study about development of ovule. Okay, I am not telling in details about the different types of ovules: orthotropous ovule, campylotropous ovule, anatropous ovule, hemianatropous ovule, amphitropous ovule, then cercinotropous ovule. I am not going into the details of the types of ovules. Okay. Now we will immediately switch over to the development of ovule. Ovule arises as a parenchymatous mound on a placenta. That means group of parenchymatous tissue are present which gives rise to ovule. Okay. Now these parenchymatous tissue undergo periclinal and anticlinal division to form archisporial cell. Got it? Now this archisporial cell undergoes further division to form nucellus with embryo sac, nucellus containing embryo sac. Now integuments arise as complete ring. You know, integuments are the covering of the ovule. Okay. Integuments arise as ring below the nucellus and cover the entire nucellus except at micropylar end. Okay. Now as you can see here in this picture, where is the integument? This one is the integument. Got it? Integument. So now come to the next slide. Development of megaspore. You know, megaspore gives rise to embryo sac. So how that megaspore develops? Now the process in which megaspore is formed from megaspore mother cell is called megasporogenesis, just like microspore. Microspores was being formed from microspore mother cell, and that process was called as microsporogenesis. Here, as megaspores are formed from megaspore mother cell, we call it as megasporogenesis. Okay. At the micropylar end of the ovule, okay, at the micropylar end, a hypodermal cell differentiates to form archisporial initial. Okay, and a hypodermal cell differentiates to form archisporial initial. Sometimes the archisporial initial directly behaves as megaspore mother cell. That archisporial initial directly behaves as megaspore mother cells. And such kind of ovules are generally unitegmic ovules, and these are called tenuinucellate ovules. Okay. In unitegmic ovules, generally the archisporial initial which is formed from hypodermal cell directly behaves as megaspore mother cell. Okay. And these ovules are called tenuinucellate ovules. Okay. But in some other kinds of ovules, especially in bitegmic ovules, archisporial initial doesn't directly behave as megaspore mother cell. Rather, it divides periclinally to form an outer primary parietal cell and an inner primary sporogenous cell. Outer primary parietal cell and an inner primary sporogenous cell. Got it? Now, the outer primary parietal cell divides further. Okay, again it divides, as a result of which the primary sporogenous cell gets deep seated. Okay, gets deep seated in the nucellar tissue. Such ovules are called crassinucellate ovule. Okay. So in case of tenuinucellate ovule, what was happening? The archisporial initial was directly behaving as megaspore mother cell. But in case of crassinucellate ovule, which are generally bitegmic ovules, archisporial initial is undergoing periclinal division to form an outer primary parietal cell and an inner primary sporogenous cell. Now the outer primary parietal cell again divides, as a result of which the inner primary sporogenous cell gets deep seated. Okay. Now the primary sporogenous cell forms the megaspore mother cell. Got it? Primary sporogenous cell forms the megaspore mother cell. Now come to the next slide. The megaspore mother cell undergoes meiosis to form 4 haploid megaspores which are arranged in a tetrad. Now, out of these 4 haploid megaspores, 3 degenerate. Okay, and the remaining one which remains towards the chalazal end remain functional. Okay, you are getting 4 haploid megaspores from one megaspore mother cell as a result of meiosis, and out of these 4, the 3 degenerate and the one that remains towards the chalazal end remain functional. Got it? Now, this particular megaspore which is haploid in nature is the first cell of female gametophytic generation. Okay, this particular megaspore is the first cell of female gametophytic generation. Got it? Now come to the next slide. Formation of female gametophyte. So we got megaspores. First we studied about the process structure of ovule. Then we came to the development of ovule, how parenchymatous mound later gives rise to the ovule. Then we studied in details about the process of megaspore formation, which is otherwise known as megasporogenesis, how 4 megaspores were being formed, out of which 3 were getting degenerated and the last one remained functional, isn't it? And that was towards the Chalazal end, and that haploid megaspore actually gives rise to the female gametophyte. Okay. Now we will study about it. The formation of female gametophyte, also called as embryo sac. Okay, this female gametophyte is otherwise known as embryo sac. The formation of female gametophyte from megaspore is called megagametogenesis, just like the microgametogenesis. What was happening? Your microspore was giving rise to the male gametophyte, but here the megaspore is giving rise to the female gametophyte. Got it? And this process is called megagametogenesis. On the basis of development, the embryo sacs are of 3 types: monosporic, bisporic and tetrasporic. We will study about the monosporic type of embryo sac. Monosporic, single spore, single megaspore. What we had studied in the last slide, out of the 4, 3 were getting degenerated and the 1 was remaining functional. The functional megaspore towards the Chalazal end actually gives rise to the embryo sac in case of monosporic embryo sac. Got it? Now let us study in details about the monosporic embryo sac. So the functional megaspore that was present towards the Chalazal end undergoes 3 nuclear mitotic division. Okay, its nucleus undergoes 3 mitotic division. So how many nuclei we are getting out of 3 nuclear division? 8 nuclei we are getting. Out of these 8 nuclei, each pole receives 4 nuclei each. Okay, each pole receives 4 nuclei each. 3 nuclear division means from 1 nuclei to 2 nuclei. First mitotic division was giving rise to 2 nuclei, then second mitotic division gave rise to 4 nuclei, and third mitotic division was giving rise to 8 nuclei. Just let me draw. So this one is the functional megaspore. Then first mitotic division takes place. So how many nuclei were getting formed? 1, 2. Then second mitotic division takes place. Each one was giving rise to 2. So how many total nuclei? 4. The third mitotic division was taking place. So how many total? 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Got it? So in total 8 nuclei are formed. So as far as the arrangement of these 8 nuclei are concerned, 4 each goes to the opposite poles. So each pole receives 4 nuclei. Okay. Out of these 8 nuclei, 6 nuclei get surrounded by cytoplasm through, get surrounded by cell wall through cytokinesis. Okay. Whereas the remaining 2 remain your free. Out of the 8, 6 get surrounded by cell wall through cytokinesis, whereas the 2 nuclei remain free. Got it? So how the arrangement occurs? Out of the 6, 3 towards the micropylar end form egg apparatus, 3 towards the Chalazal end form antipodals, and the remaining 2 which were free, one from the Chalazal end and one from the micropylar end migrate to the center of the embryo sac to form polar nuclei that later form central cell. Okay. Monosporic embryo sac is 8 nucleate but 7 celled. 7 celled means 3 micropylar, 3 Chalazal and 1 central. So, how many cells? 7. So, if we draw the picture, this will look like this. Embryo sac, got it. So, 3 towards micropolar end form egg apparatus, 1, 2, 3 egg apparatus, then 3 towards chalazal end form your antipodal cells, then 1 at the center form the central cell. Now, as far as egg apparatus is concerned, it consists of if we go into the details of the structure of egg apparatus, it consists of a central egg cell and 2 peripheral synergids. This one is the central egg cell and 2 peripheral synergids. Just let me draw the diagram again. So, central egg cell, this one is the central egg cell, and these two are peripheral synergids, this one and this one, peripheral synergids, got it. The synergids have special cellular thickenings which are called as filiform apparatus. What is that called? Filiform. Filiform apparatus, which plays, what is the function of filiform apparatus? It plays a major role in pollen tube guidance and reception, got it. Now, as far as antipodals are concerned, there are 3 antipodals at the chalazal end, 1, 2, 3 antipodals at the chalazal end. These degenerate before or soon after fertilization, got it. The antipodal cells only serve to provide nutrition to the proembryo. Their function is providing nutrition to the proembryo. Then, as far as central cell is concerned, there are presence, this is the central cell. It has 2 polar nuclei which may get fused to form a single diploid nucleus called as secondary nucleus or definitive nucleus. So, this one is the central cell, this one is the central cell. Now, the 2 polar nuclei present in the central cell, they may get fused to form a secondary nucleus or definitive nucleus which is diploid in nature. Okay. So, I hope as far as the development of female gametophyte is concerned, you would be able to understand it quite clearly now. Okay. Now, we will meet again in the next class. Thank you.